we're going to each share something happening generally that we've seen or heard in the news of the world that impacts or intersects digital ministry, technology, what's happening, and just how it might make its way into the stuff that we do in digital ministry. So, do you have something? I have something, but I want to let you go first in case we have the same thing, and that way I can.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest thing I've been following, keeping track of, is a lot of the laws, the LGBTQ laws and the drag queen laws and those kinds of things. And I think I have a really great place in digital spaces to let people know that this is not a strictly Christian attack. Like, this is not something that all of us are, backing or wanting, or, that some of us are just as offended as you are. Also, I have members of our tapestry who are trans who are in Florida. And so we've reached out and been like, what do you need? What's the exit plan? Where do you plan on going if this thing gets a little bit too worse? Do you feel like you need to leave? And so to keep an eye on that, especially as digital, you got to be global in like thinking about where all my people are. And so I think that has been a big part of me just kind of being like, okay, what state is that? Who do I know that's there? What do they need? Reaching out, helping people make plans, and trying to keep my ear out for where I can bring my face physically. Like if there's something happening in Denver, like I'm going to be there with my collar on, with, my business cards to say, hey, this needs to be something that we all take seriously.
Mine feels very superfluous compared to how yours was actually
Oh,
like a
no, sorry.
serious like ministry thing. Um, so, but you win the extra, crowns in
See, you
heaven.
should have gone first. I would have gotten the vibe, the gauge.
No, there is no vibe. This is all making it up as we go. Build the plane as it flies, tie your shoes while we run, all that good stuff. And I think that's so essential because what I love, you already made the connections of these things happen in the world, and the digital ministry aspect is digital ministry paying attention to all of it. Has to pay attention to all of it. It can't just be like it's redefining the boundaries of parish, and it's no longer what happens within whatever mile radius of my physical location. It's suddenly we have to become the global citizens we've always been, recognizing our neighbor isn't just the person across the street from us. It's the person who's hanging out in Florida and wherever and all these places. So
Yeah.
yes, 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 yes. Well, my thing from the news was just it's about 24 hours old, I think, as of recording this. Today is Thursday, July 6th, and in the past, is it the 6th or the 7th? It's the 6th. In the past 24 hours, Meta has launched a whole new platform called Threads, which is not clothing. It's basically Twitter brought to you by Instagram. um, and I've joined. I'm on Threads. So is Riverside. I got them on there too. And I have to say, at least initially, it feels very much like the early days of Twitter, which is a good thing, I would say.
I skipped
However,
that, so like maybe I need to give this a
oh,
shot.
oh, you missed early Twitter. Early
I
Twitter was
did.
good. Yeah.
I
Uh,
missed it on
it,
purpose. I didn't think I was witty enough to be on Twitter. And now I've
yeah.
cultivated my spiritual gift of sass, so now I think I
Yeah, so
probably
you're
should.
you're like you're the perfect audience for it. Well, I don't know what's going to happen. I'm conflicted because it's basically which overlord do you want to give your data to, Musk or Zuckerberg? And I feel like whoever wins the cage fight, is that who we serve instead? I don't know.
Zuckerberg's already got everything, so
Yeah, yeah. But there's a lot of interesting things that I think is worth just paying attention to. There's been a lot of talk about like, okay, Twitter's dead, which I think is pretty much true for a lot of reasons. What's going to be the next Twitter, the thing that fills that space of just public, like what's the next digital public square kind of a thing? Um, and there's been a lot of attempts, Mastodon, Blue Sky, the whole Fediverse with the Federation rather than, which is a whole thing I barely know enough about to even talk about. But it's interesting how in like 24 hours, the question of what's going to be the next Twitter just became, well, it's obviously this, right? At least that seems to be how it feels 24 hours in. And I think there's been a lot of stats of within 24 hours, they got like insane number of users on the
is
platform.
this a
Like
whole
it's got
nother app or is it something?
Yes, it's a
Okay.
whole other app. but it's directly connected to Instagram. So you log in through your so that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. They didn't have to recruit a new audience. They just had to convert their audience from one platform over. Now, what I'm waiting for them to do, this is getting really technical and in the weeds. Have you noticed on Instagram how there's the Instagram Notes section? It's like a new
Yeah.
thing over in the. I know I don't know what to do with it. It's weird. I've touched it like twice in my life. What I wish they would do is make it so whenever I post on Threads, that becomes my note, and so like it's automatically living in both
You heard it here
spaces.
first, Zuckerberg. If you take this, you got to give
Yeah,
credit.
yeah, yeah. It would give me a reason to use notes, and it would make the two platforms feel like they're working together without feeling like it's overwhelming. So I just think I'm intrigued. I'm always intrigued by new platforms, and we'll see what. And oh, it's interesting to know NPR is on Threads, and they were
Okay.
one of the first news organizations to leave Twitter, and they have officially joined Threads. So it's interesting just to see what's going to happen. And it's literally
Okay, I'm
as of
gonna
this
open up my phone
conversation,
right now. I'm
24
gonna
hours old.
get threads going. We'll go.